Fellow citizens, we cannot escape history. Today, in this room, under the watchful eye of President Abraham Lincoln, by a constitutional majority of the members elected to the Illinois General Assembly, and by my actions as governor, we have abolished the death penalty in Illinois, the land of Lincoln. This was the most difficult decision that I've made as governor. It was made after many days and nights of reflection and review. For those who support this decision, I received many communications, and from those who oppose this decision, I received many communications. And I studied everything to the best of my ability and followed my conscience, and I made this decision today to sign the law passed by the members of the General Assembly. It became law today with my signature. We've also commuted the sentences of 15 members of death row who were convicted and sentenced to death. I believe if we abolish the death penalty in Illinois, we should abolish it for everyone. Our state has joined with 15 other states and the District of Columbia in abolishing the death penalty. I'll answer any questions that you have. Life in prison without possibility of parole or release.
Governor, you campaigned in the fall as a supporter of the death penalty. You didn't talk about repealing the death penalty at that time. Do you feel you were upfront with the voters about this issue?
The members of the General Assembly acted after November 2nd, the election, by constitutional majorities of the House and Senate on a bill. It's my responsibility, both under the Constitution, my ethical responsibility, to look at every bill, study it to the best of my ability. I heard both proponents and opponents of this legislation. I felt at this time, in this place, in this moment of history, the best step forward for the state of Illinois was to abolish the death penalty. We all know that our state has had serious problems with respect to the system of the death penalty for many years. 20 individuals have been sentenced to death and later exonerated and removed from death row. And under those circumstances, I felt it was important to study every aspect of the death penalty system. And I have concluded, after looking at all the information that I have received, that it is impossible to create a perfect system, one that is free of all mistakes, free of all discrimination with respect to race or economic circumstance or geography. To have a consistent, perfect death penalty system, I have concluded, after looking at everything I've been given, that that's impossible in our state. I think it's the right and just thing to abolish the death penalty and punish those who commit heinous crimes, evil people, with life in prison without parole or any chance of release. Under the statute I just signed, there is a death penalty abolition trust fund that's established by law that will provide resources to those who are the family members of victims of murder, as well as to those in law enforcement to prevent murder from happening. I think this is a very important trust fund, and I want to say to the family members of those who have been murdered, there are no words in the English language or any language to relieve your pain, and I understand that. I've met with family members who strongly support the death penalty and other family members of victims who strongly oppose the death penalty. And I listened with all my heart to each and every one of those families, and I want to tell them that it's impossible, I'm sure, to ever be healed, but we want to tell all of those family members that the family of Illinois, all 13 million people who live in our state, we want to be with you. You're not alone in your grief. I think it's important that all of us reach out through this trust fund and helping family members recover. No. From those who are on death row today. I looked at the circumstances. I felt once the decision was made to sign the law abolishing the death penalty, that it should be abolished for all.
Governor Ryan started this process with the moratorium and conversation. Governor Joy has continued it by not renewing it. How much credit do your predecessors have in this?
I think there are many people, both in public life and outside of public life, everyday citizens who have worked in this area and have strong feelings about it. I think they were indispensable at showing that the 20 men who were exonerated and removed from death row were put there by mistake. And I think that's important for our system of justice to understand, and especially here in Illinois, where we are the land of Lincoln. I think Abraham Lincoln, who was sworn in as president almost exactly 150 years ago this day, if he was in my shoes, I believe Abraham Lincoln would have signed the legislation that I signed and acted as I did today. I think this is a decision that is in the best interests of our state and our people and all of those, both elected officials and citizens who worked on this issue. I think they deserve great credit for doing things within our democracy.